Hey guys, welcome back to the JPM Performance channel. It's, of course, once again, time for a shop tour. So we're rolling our way through December. Here we are, December 5th. So 1, 2, 3 weeks and Christmas will be over. In 4 weeks, it'll be the new year. It'll be January. So it has officially gotten cold in Topeka. So we are in winter time. We've gotten some snow. It's cold. Whatever. There's not a whole lot to talk about in the winter. So anyway, shop tour time. You can see that the bench is cleared off. It's because I finished Steven's engine. Interesting to get a few comments from you guys about the line-to-line stuff. I made a couple comments on there, but for anybody that, I can answer it easier on a shop tour than I can just typing it out anyway. A couple of comments on, can you reuse it? Well, yeah, I mean, you can send it back to them and they can strip it down and recoat it, of course. And as far as contamination of the oil, I've never seen it. So, it's so microscopic. We're only talking about a couple thousandths wearing off, 3,000ths wearing off of these skirts, just in the places it needs to as it breaks in. Never seen an issue with oil pump pickup issues, oil contamination. It breaks in and you're good to go. So I think after your first 20 minutes, what I'll end up doing is spending a little time on the dyno, breaking the rings in, of course, at part throttle. Up and down is kind of how I like to do it in third gear. Half throttle up to about 5,500 RPMs, let it coast down to about 3, and you just kind of go back and forth, very light load, breaking rings in, breaking everything in. It's no big deal. So I think in this situation, it's one of these, don't overthink it. It works great. So, probably won't have another engine on the bench for another couple weeks. And it's going to be that turbo engine that you guys saw, the CNC ported head. So that's going to be interesting to see go together because there's so many cool trick pieces going into that thing. So a couple weeks on that. I did finally get in, and for those of you that run Miatas, especially ones that have big cams that need adjustable cam gears, man, there has just not been a good supplier of these for a few years. I used to be able to buy these certain ones that I really like, and the manufacturer quit making them. I kind of talked the guy into making some more. Now, I'll disclose that I had to buy 25 sets for him to make a run for me, but we were able to make them really custom. Of course, blue is my favorite color. So these adjustable cam gears, right, for a Miata. You can use these on the intake and exhaust. You can see that these have the spots for the pins for the later Miatas that have cam sensors in the front. So all you have to do is install the pins. We got a good price on these. I got 25 sets of them. If anybody wants some, 25 sets is going to last me for years and years and years. So if you guys are interested in some really nice cam gears, these are about $340 for the set, which is a better price than I think you can probably find anywhere, especially for gears that are built this well. So they're all billet with really nice bracing in the back. These will not break. They're strong. You can see it's got really good timing adjustment for adjusting your cams on the dyno. Man, I'm excited to get these in. So I've got my first installation here. I've got 10 sets, another 15 coming in the next month or so. So there's my sales pitch for today. If you guys are interested in some really nice cam gears, hit me up. Okay, couple new cars in the shop. One, of course, I am very fond of. It's because it's my original F production Miata. So this is now Jerry Lamb's car. This car's gone through a bunch of hands over the years. Taz Harvey owned it before Jerry, and you guys saw this last winter before he picked it up, but he ran the whole season. But it would appear that the engine now has about 3.5 to 4 seasons on it. So engine's down on power a little bit, using oil. We're going to yank the engine out, yank the transmission out. This car also has one of the MCO EGMTs that I'm super fond of. So we're going to kind of get everything straightened up, rebuilt over the winter here. He just dropped it off. I love this car. It's one of my favorites. So looking forward to getting into this. Also got in Jim Steinhelfer's STU BMW Z3. So it's here for a couple different things. The shop that was working on it thinks that maybe the engine is damaged from an over rev. So first order of business is going to be an engine diagnostics. So I'm going to get it running, pull the plugs out, do a compression check, do a leak down, see what we've really got going on here. Could be something as simple as valve lash. I don't know yet, but it's here for a little diagnosis, potentially some engine work, and then also John gets to wrap it. So Jim Steinhelfer is John's father-in-law. Stepdad. I said that last time, didn't I? Stepdad. I'm bad at families, whatever. So, stepdad. Jim is John's stepdad, and John's going to come up with a really nice wrap for the car. I don't know if that's going to get done here, if it's going to get done over in his shop when I'm done with it. So we'll see. I don't know if you're going to get to see it or not. We'll see. But that just showed up as well. Like I said last week, the shop looks a little empty because I've got more coming in, and I've got another one coming in still later this week. So, because I finished up Steven's car, or his engine, it is now sitting in the car. So, a couple things I needed to do once I got the engine into the car. He also has an EGMT transmission in this car as well, but we're completely changing the way that we mount the differential. We've had some failures with the little short. It was basically this, well, I've got it sitting right over here. So this little dealie sat and bolted into the bottom of the differential with this little bracket. And I just think there's too much, you know, rocking action without a long enough lever arm. And it was breaking these things. You can see that one's cracked again. This is basically going to get pitched. So we're getting rid of this. So kind of went back to the way we used to do it back in the old days, which is bolting a power plant frame into the differential and then bringing that up into the tunnel. On this one, I ended up making a custom bracket that bolted from the power plant frame. I had to shorten the power plant frame, and it bolts from the power plant frame into the custom transmission mount. So now it'll be really easy to remove that, drop the tranny mount down so he can pull the tail housing and change drop gears. So I'm really excited about that. So that's all completed. The next thing I need to do is just get everything hooked up, get it running, get it broken in. Obviously with the new coilover setup, we need to get onto the scales as well. So we'll do that before we dyno. But next step is to get this engine all hooked up, get it running, do our initial break-in, and then we'll do our alignment before we jump on the dyno. Okay. GT1 Camaro time. Actually, considering I had Thursday and Friday off last week, basically, I've actually gotten quite a bit done. So last week you saw that I had the housing sitting here, kind of getting ready to get mocked up. So the beauty of being able to do this, like, you know, out here, we talked about the shims in between the uprights and the housing, how you can rotate them and adjust them. So what I've done is I have shimmed up this housing so it's dead level, front to side, to the earth. That way we can, when we check our camber, it's going to be accurate, right? I've also set my pinion angle to what we run in the car so that we know that we've got our pinion angle set. So the next thing I'm getting ready to do is to check toe and camber, and then we'll have to take it apart, move the shims as needed, and get this straightened up. But yeah, it's actually looking pretty good. This is pretty cool to be able to set this up just sitting out here. Once this is done, I'll be able to reassemble everything, seal it up, back into the car. Already got the I don't know if we talked about this or not. Already got the transmission out, taken apart. Steve was kind of concerned about it. Everything looked good. It's actually not a huge job to yank these transmissions, take them apart, put them back together, especially after you've done it a few times like I have. So we're looking pretty good on this. So that's where we're at on the Camaro. Mazda 2 update, of course. Always chipping away, like we always say. I think I'll start back here because I'm working on, I wanted to do a bulkhead for the wiring so that you can actually remove this top cover and the fuel lines and the wiring without having to like completely disassemble the whole fuel cell. It was a little bit of a pain before. So I've started in with bulkhead fittings into the fuel cell cover here. I'm going to end up putting my electrical connector over here where you see this little hole where the wiring used to come through. But one of the things I was going to talk about today is you can see these little nylon washers between your bulkhead fittings. You can buy these. I put them on both sides so that you can tighten them up and you can have a little bit of cushion when it comes to running your bulkhead fittings through an aluminum panel like this. It gives it a little absorption. You know, race cars go through a lot of harmonics. If you can absorb a little bit of that, you're doing really well. So working on that. So I've got these bulkheads in. Actually got the bulkheads in the front as well. So I always do bulkheads first and then I can start working on fuel lines. Now we talked about ordering everything I needed for the fuel system last week. So you can see I've kind of got things laid out here. All new hose, of course, and then just a slew of fittings. Seems like a lot of fittings, but I don't like running hoses through firewalls, just through grommets. I like to use bulkhead fittings. That way everything is solid. You have a solid connection. And you also don't run a risk of chafing your line, right? So you have to be very diligent when it comes to wiring and your hoses to make sure you don't run into problems. So got all my fittings laid out here. Now that I've got my bulkhead fittings in, I'll be able to start on the lines. The other thing that I came up with, okay, so I'm going to disclose this as the fact that I'm not a big fan of online forums. Why is that? It's because anybody and their mother can get on there and give you an opinion on what they think you should be doing with your problem. You're going to get that on any online forum that you go to, but there is one that I frequent because there's some good information. It's called Road Race Autocross, roadraceautox.com. And if you're kind of stuck on something, a lot of knowledgeable people on there, and you can get some tips. So I went on there because I couldn't find, what I wanted to do is I wanted to put in a bulkhead fitting, it's not a fitting because it's an electrical connector, into the fuel cell cover, and then be able to disconnect both sides. So these are Deutsch connectors that I can put in both sides of this connector and literally have a bulkhead that I can pull off both sides and get that together. Now, when I ordered this, I forgot that they didn't come with the retaining pieces that go down in here and the pins, female male pins. So I ordered those stuff. All this stuff is cheap. I mean, this was like 10 bucks for this stuff. But it's so much better than, say, like a trailer connector or some of the run-of-the-mill stuff. This is really good race car stuff. So that's kind of what's going on there. So just chipping away, right? Every week, chipping away, chipping away, chipping away. I'm going to get this fuel system done really before I wrap my mind around this rocker job. And I still haven't been able to find a door. So I'm just kind of letting that marinate a little bit because I'm having a little trouble finding some of that stuff for, I mean, I can buy a brand new door from Mazda for 600 bucks plus shipping. I don't really want to do that. So looking for a replacement right front door. And you know anybody? I keep hearing, you just need to find a junk car. These Mazda 2s are not that common on the street. So if you guys run into something, man, I need a door, and I do not want to pay 500 bucks for it. I just need a used door. I'm going to gut it. It's going to be a skin. Guess I'm giving another plea again. So I got, yeah, so Joe McClugan helped me out with the rocker. I need a door too. Just haven't been able to find a door. The old one's not going to be fixable. So anyway, you know what I'm good at? Rambling, just like always. You guys know this already. Couple things. So I appreciate you guys watching as always. There will not be a shop tour next week. We will do one the week before Christmas, and then we won't do another one until the first of the year. So holidays, John's gone, I'm gone, we're all doing things, right? Family stuff. So keep working on your race cars. Stay inside where it's warm. Keep chipping away. Have a great rest of your week. I appreciate you guys watching as always. Take care.